Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Live from the Tower, your weekly Destiny show. And boy, do we have a doozy, because Bungie has told you you are not ready. You are not going to have time to prepare because the raid race is 3 days after launch. We're pulling a Forsaken, baby. It's going to be good. It's going to be hot. And I've been told you better eat a balanced breakfast because you're going to get slapped around by the witness if you're not prepared. So now that that's out of the way, let's discuss, right? The expansion, the final shape drops Tuesday, June 4th, and the raid race for the, I'm assuming that we're going to call it the witness raid for right now, is going to be Friday, June 7th. That is a whole 3 days after launch. What we do know about the final shape is the campaign is going to be the sole priority as soon as the expansion drops. So it's going to be, from what we've been told, relatively linear, at least what we assume, right? Here's my thing. I'm not mad at it. I know some people are out on Twitter and some people are out there and they're sitting there saying, oh, you know, I like the longer week that we had for Root of Nightmares and stuff like that. And it's like, I understand that. But let's be honest. Root of Nightmare wasn't impending, right? Lightfall launched. We took care of Callus. The Witness bamboozled our ghost, and that was kind of it. There was no rush to do Root of Nightmare. Root of Nightmare was birthed because people in the Ark were having nightmares. In the, the Hypernet current, the strike, we heard Nezarec, if you have the right gear on. You started hearing the whispers. Then it became apparent something's not right, and thus we get pulled to the Terraform Pyramid, where we find Nezarec, the roasted chicken. But this isn't like that. We're fighting a war. We are fighting for our lives. They said this is so important, every Guardian is going through the portal. Now, yes, gameplay-wise, that's what we're all doing. We're going through that portal full send. But canonically, every Guardian's going through that portal. That's why we're doing Into the Light. That's why we're doing these onslaught defenses for Lord Shaxx, and we're setting up perimeters at all of the city's choke points. We're setting up our defenses because the city is going to be unguarded besides the forces of the last city. The Guardians are gone, right? You figure the only Guardian that may not be in the portal is Osiris. Otherwise, it's full send, all hands on deck. So the fact that the raid's 3 days later, thematically, it makes sense. It's like, all right, so this is, it's time. Like we're making the assault. We're going after Sauron. There we go. We're going up to Mount Doom. We're gonna fight the man himself, and hopefully we're gonna get a nice piece of loot after it. Everyone's like, oh, I want the week. Like, no, you should want the urgency. And this goes back to something that I've always loved about Destiny 1 that Destiny 2 shied away from, and that was big content drops. I loved when Bungie would throw everything at players and then people could work through it on their own pace. I've not been a fan of drip-fed content. And I know it's rich coming from someone like me who's never participated in a day one raid race, and that's by design. I've had this talk with Zephinblade before. I'm not the type of player who wants to do a day one raid race. I don't want to grind with no time and speed through the campaign. I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna grind for this. Not for day one, but for week one. I want to be there on the ground level. I want to experience what everyone else is experiencing. I don't want to get left behind. So the moment I heard, oh, the raid race is 3 days later, I was like, oh, I need to start prepping now. And that's what I honestly think. Anyone who's looking to do the raid, I think you need to start prepping now. And I know obviously the sandbox is going to be completely different. Prismatic is going to change everything. We don't know what's going to be the meta for the raid. We don't know this, we don't know that. That's fine. A lot of that will get sorted day one. So if you're going through day one, Godspeed, God bless, good luck. If you're not going through day one and you're going through week one because you want the jacket, which I hope there's a jacket, hear me out. You start prepping now. Maybe you don't usually prep for seasons, but maybe you should do a little prep. Stack up a couple bounties. Don't go nuts. Don't have all 60 slots filled. Stack up some bounties to get you a little XP boost. Because we know Echoes is launching post Final Shape. Echoes is not launching with Final Shape. Echoes is launching post Final Shape. That means Final Shape's got to be pretty beefy. If you're a person who likes playing all the subclasses, which most people do, make your loadouts. We've got what, 40 something days? Go do the Lost Sectors or go do the Riven's Wishes quest. Get yourself some gear. I don't have one yet, but I'm going to be farming out an Apex Predator. I was told it was BIS, and hopefully it stays BIS. I'm going to get a nice one, craft it up, grind it out, have a nice legendary rocket launcher, and retire my Adept Hothead. Otherwise, if you don't want the red border for any of the Last Wish weapons, and you're like, why didn't you legendary Lightfall? Go get yourself an exotic. The Swarmer legs or the fire gauntlets for the Titans. Go get yourself something. Start making your builds. Start saving your loadouts. We have enough loadout spaces in base form, not counting the ones you get from Guardian ranks. But we have enough loadout spaces where you can have a loadout for each subclass. I think. I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong, you guys are going to tell me in the comments, so it's fine. Run Onslaught, get these weapons, some of which are probably going to be BIS, farm them out, get your gear. You know, if you're a PvPer, go play comp. I know the state of PvP is not fantastic. Go play comp. You want to know why? You get high stat roll armor. You're a PvEer, I'm sure you're already in dungeons, and if you're a raider, you're already doing Master Raids. You're already doing Grandmasters. You're already doing Legend Onslaught. Good for you. If you're someone like me, you may need to kind of take a not a slower approach, but a different approach. You're not used to grinding. You're not used to prepping and farming and doing all this stuff. So what you do is one of two things. You go and reach out to a clanmate or a friend who preps and who's hardcore, and you say, hey, I want to be ready for the raid. I know new stuff's coming out, but I want to give myself the best chance now. That way, when the new stuff comes out, I already might have a couple tools in my pocket, and let them help you, whether they give you a list of like, okay, you're going to do X, Y, and Z, and then A, B, F. Take the list, you go do it, fine. Or if they say, yeah, let's start. I'm going to take you through with stuff, and you kind of hop in the backpack and then let them do it. Whichever one you choose, you return the favor. They need a body for a mission, you be the body. If they say, hey, I need a body for trials, I'm not looking to get flawless, I'm looking to farm. If they come to you and say, hey, I need a body, and they are helping you prep or have helped you prep, you're the body. You return the favor. But I would start now. Honestly, you could listen to this episode while you start, because we're not talking about anything big or anything major. There hasn't been any new news or any new updates, besides Onslaught getting bonus drops on the level 50 variant, which leads to, I believe, 2 more weapons and a bunch more trophies of the Brave. Fantastic. People wanted that, so people don't leave as early. Good to see it. Thanks, Bungie. There's nothing big happening in-game right now. This is your time, and if you're already prepped and you're already stacked and you say, Phantom, I'm not prepping no more. I got all my bounties. I don't care. I'm going to do the campaign, and I'm going to go into that raid and just bash my head against the keyboard. More power to you. I'm so happy for you right now. If you're like, I'm done. I don't need to do anything else. Then go take a break. I implore you. If you're prepped and all set and you have all your loadouts and all your gear and you're mid-max to the teeth and you have all your mats loaded into your inventory, your vault is cleaned, your slots in your bags are all empty for all the new loot, you got maxed out enhancement prisms, enhancement cores, upgrade materials, ascendant shards. You got all that set. The transmog is the drippiest transmog you could think of. You got the coolest ship you want, the coolest sparrow, your emblem's all set, you're good to go. Take a break. Put the game down. Go play something else, or go watch stuff. Go do something else. Go enjoy your other hobbies in life. And I'm telling you this out of experience, because if you don't, you could, not saying you will, but you could end up in burnout. And then when the final shape comes out, you'll do the campaign, you'll have a great time, but you may just be like, you know what? I'm not really feeling a raid. Like, I need a little time. I need a little breather. And listen, if that happens, that's okay. You take your breather, the raid will be here when you come back. But if you do your break now, again, this is only if you're all prepped or if you're choosing not to prep and you're kind of all wrapped up. If you're all wrapped up for the end of the season and the end of Lightfall and you're all set and done, you go do your break. Take your break now, and then you come back in June, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. Everything's going to be set. Your inventory's going to be clean. Your vault's going to be cleaned. You're going to get 100 new vault space. You're going to have your transmog. You're going to have your weapons, your loadouts, your mods. Perfect. You could dive right in. And you can have the best time of your life. So no matter what you're going to do it now. Whether you're going to take a break or whether you're going to prep. For anyone who's interested in doing the raid, from what I've been told, it's a doozy. I don't know any specifics, but I've been told it's going to be tough. And if you don't think it's going to be tough, look at how Root of Nightmares launched and the feedback. If you think Bungie is going to let that feedback fall on deaf ears, you got another thing coming. This is the culmination of 10 years. If you don't think just based on that point alone that this raid is going to kick your teeth in, I don't know what you should expect. I honestly don't. This is, in my mind, this is Forsaken level rating. What I mean by that is not just difficulty, but Forsaken launched, the turnaround time to get into Last Wish was near to nothing. Fran Mirabella over on Fireteam Chat coined it power per hour. What is the fastest, most efficient way to get to the power cap to do the raid? Now, we don't know what any of that's going to look like. I mean, there was that thing they talked about. Joe Blackburn mentioned it, I think, in the State of the Game called Pathfinder, and he showed that graphic with the engram and like that weird skill tree. We don't know anything else about that. We don't know what that is entailing, what that involves. So go off the assumption the same way to gain power is the same way it's always been. Funnel you through the campaign. You do your powerfuls, you do your pinnacles, you pop your bounties, you get your XP boost for the fire team, and then you zoom and you load as many mod slots as you can and you go nuts. That's what I would do. To summarize, if you're burnt out, take a break. If you're hyped and excited, start prepping for the raid. If you're not gonna raid, you're good. If you're in that spot where you're just like, I'm just playing the game and I'm having a good time, I'll get to the raid eventually, especially with Fireteam Finder. I don't need to do it right away. I could not be more happy for you. Whichever path you're on, all I ask for you is that you enjoy it. You like grinding bounties and getting that big spike in your season pass? Do it. You like just playing casually, picking it up on the weekends to do some trials matches and then putting it down Monday through Friday? Do it. You like running patrols just because you like the world spaces? Do it. But at the end of the day, do what's best for you and do what makes it fun. That's pretty much all I have to say on the matter. I am excited. I'm getting my Titan caught up through pretty much everything. I just finished Witch Queen last night. I'm going to start Lightfall. I'm going to do the seasonals. I'm going to do the seasonal exotic missions and maybe chase a couple titles. I'm going to do Onslaught. I got 40 days. I know my back's against the wall, but in the words of Sketch, pressure makes diamonds, and I love the pressure. But with all that being said, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. And until next time, fly safe, Guardians.